All right. It says we are live. So, of course, this is just spur of the moment. So as people start coming in, we'll, do whatever. But hey, we're going to talk about, just like we were talking about before, the controversy with Jody at Just One More Watch losing his channel overnight, just deleted off of apparently some random counterfeit claim of selling counterfeits or something like that.
So I think there have been a few channels
What's
that
up,
have
Junior?
there's been a few channels that have gotten this, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know all of them, but obviously I think that, hey, Junior, we got some Stanford, Jerry.
What's up,
hey, guys. So apparently what they've been doing is that, well, I've been talking to a couple of people. People who are actually in the industry. When this actually happened, I asked a few people, and they said that brands like Rolex and Omega, and specifically Omega for him, because he actually put up 2 videos where he's comparing a replica Omega to a genuine Omega.
Right.
And honestly, I think they're invaluable videos, in my opinion, because if you're going out to buy the watch that you have, that Omega Seamaster professional, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, his channel is back. Sanford.
It is back. That's what we're
back. I don't know.
You guys just coming in, not to interrupt, Chris. For you guys coming in, speed up. We just jumped on here to let you know. Yes, he is back. Thank you to everybody that's in here and everybody that's watching this later. Everybody, I tell you what, I gotta say this real quick. I am so impressed with the watch fam. We killed it within a matter of hours. We all helped get his channel back, and deservedly so, because he is probably the class act. Such a nice dude, and he really does not play shenanigans with watches. He doesn't. I mean, it just you guys are all familiar with his channel, and he is back, and that's good news. So go ahead.
Yeah, and he's one of the YouTubers that I said, like, he inspired me. It was because of a reason I didn't like one of the reviews that he did.
Oh yeah, on the C-Star.
On the Tissot. I was like, no way, this is a great watch.
It is.
And it inspired me to make a video about that. So that's kind of an inspiration for me. Like that, I started my channel not based off of that one disagreement, but there were a lot of other YouTubers that I kind of disagreed with, and that's why I started making my own videos.
Yes.
But I always watch his videos. He's a really honest guy, and it's sad. But what I was saying is that there are brands that are targeting, replica watches. They're targeting fake watches, and part of that is anything that is displaying them on YouTube. Unfortunately, the way it works is, and from their perspective, and just to give a little bit of an insight for this, from their perspective, the problem here is that you're showing the watch, and it's for the people like me and you and the people in the chat, a majority, I hope. When you see it, you're like, wow, that's really close. I got to look out for that and make sure I don't buy it. But then there's people out there who look at that and they say, wow, that's so close.
I'm going to go buy
it. I want that because I'm going to save $5,000 and I could spend $500 and get basically something that will fool everyone. I don't care if it's fake. I'll put it on my wrist. People will never know.
Right. And some of them are so good. You have to, I watched, was a Del Rey watch, Frederico's. He had a video talking about it, and I don't remember if he showed them, but he talked about how one way to specifically tell without a doubt, and I'm sure the criminals who make these will adjust. They will adjust and do this. But if you crack the case back on a Rolex, the balance wheel has these little tiny, arms coming off it with these little tiny bolts or whatever to adjust the balance.
The weights,
the weights on it. Thank you. And he's like, that's one way to tell. You crack it open, but the super fakes are getting so good. And how many times have you known somebody, if you keep it a secret, if you try to keep that stuff a secret and not tell anybody about it, it's actually worse, because you're going to get people that will be screwed off of eBay. And in every one of your videos, my videos, every one of Jody's, Josh's, everybody that I've seen that does this, Bark and Jack, they say, and Bark and Jack did the Omega one too. They say, look, and I think they shot it, or maybe that was a Rolex. They say, look, we don't condone this. We don't want you to go out and buy any of these. We are trying to do this for educational purposes to save you heartache, time, money, save you from being scammed. Yep. Because if you buy a watch off eBay or you buy it off some store somewhere online, because it's a lot easier to scam somebody online than actually walking into an AD. You walk into an AD, you're guaranteed it's going to be real. So why would they not partner with us? Why, I didn't think Omega or Rolex, I thought they're so big that they wouldn't even care. But apparently, as you were saying, those brands will actually target people doing this. But if you're not showing it like, hey, go to the website here and pick you one up for $600. Why buy the real one? They don't do that. They say, do not do this. Here's some fine details to tell. If you meet somebody off of Craigslist and they want to sell you meet them in a mall parking lot and they want to sell their Rolex, check these areas out, because knowledge is power. Right. And you'll be able to say, no, this is a fake. I'm not getting screwed. But I don't know. I think the biggest problem is that it is a fine line between that and so there. See, from your perspective, it's cut and dry. From my perspective, it's pretty cut and dry. And getting a little bit more perspective from someone who is actually in the business and a few other people that are in the business, because just understanding that perspective. When they see it, they see you comparing a watch to their watch. You're comparing a replica to their watch. And you're saying it's so close that this is, it's almost exactly the same. And the problem is they are almost exactly the same. So a lot of these watches can be, passed off as a legitimate watch. They would rather, so they feel that that's going to generate more sales for them, not for the genuine article, for the replica, because the people who are looking for them, what's that? Based solely on price, because you can
based solely on price, because there's going to be people out there who are going to say to themselves, I can get 99 or not 99, but let's say 90% of the way there for $500, or I can get 100% away there for $5,500.
Right.
They may lean towards unfortunately, there's more people out there who can't afford the watch that can. And the point is that they're going to try and get what they can't get by buying the replica.
True, but I totally agree. But is the solution to that taking away and just not talking about it? I don't know. I don't know. They're not out there, because take away. The first analogy I got is money. What if we did a video on comparing counterfeit money to real money? Now, having counterfeit money is illegal, but what if you were to compare the two and say, hey, look out for this. If you go to buy some anywhere, like I said, internet facilitates, it can open yourself up for a lot of criminal activity that wasn't there before. I meet you in a parking lot. Heck, I can meet you in a parking lot. This is actually kind of funny. I just thought of this. To sell you a fake watch, and you buy it with counterfeit money, and we both get screwed. You know what I'm saying? But if you know what to look out for, if you say
that seems like a fair transaction, though.
That'd be fair. That would be fair. Two criminals, robbing each other. Yeah. But if you were able to look out for because people fake everything. They even fake $10 Casios. $10 Casios are faked, or replicated, and like this schemes and all that kind of stuff. But they're actually faked. How much money do you make off a fake Casio? But they still fake
everything. Now, if you go on eBay, there are fake, because the market for, and this is something that I was thinking about doing a video about. And this is because I'm constantly on eBay, guys. Yes. I have a bad addiction to eBay, but the thing is that through videos like my own and videos like Jody's and videos like there are plenty of watch channels that have done videos. Actually, one of the biggest watch channels out there, watchfinder.co. I think they have over 500,000 subscribers, right? Am I wrong?
I think
they have a lot of they have a lot of
subscribers. They're one of the top 2 or 3 out there.
Yes, and they do a really good comparison of a fake Daytona to a genuine Daytona. Really good, and it's pretty eye-opening. They're selling those watches. That's what their business is. They're selling these pre-owned watches. They're making these videos for the people who want to educate themselves on what is real and what is fake, like myself. So when I go and if I wanted to buy a Daytona, let's say, I would go and I would look at this video. If I wasn't going to go through a channel that actually vetted the watch and I was going to take a chance, that's the only resource that I have is those videos. That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
How many times I was thinking about when I thought about when Jody's videos were taken down. I said, my goodness, the breadth of knowledge, because he's created, we've all done this. We've all created catalogs of watches. The first thing I did, the way I found your channel, it was, I'll tell you what, when I really heavily started to get into watches and wanted to know the minutia and the details and all the stuff about and prices and what other people think, because like you said, I was considering buying certain watches. All I did was YouTube like watches or watches for men. So what comes up first? Urban Gentry channel, because he was the biggest at the time. Now we're talking about a year and a half, 2 years ago. Just one more watch. Yours came up for putting the oil in the Casio when you did that video and you did those videos. So all those came up, and people will watch it. They'll learn about everything. What a lot of times people don't know what the heck a unidirectional dive style bezel is, or why the SKS 009 is colored, that red area, and then the rest is blue, the 15 minutes, because you're supposed to wait. Excuse me. There's a bunch of knowledge on there. And now somebody is going to go, when his channel was gone, somebody would go and look for a watch that they would consider buying, Google it, and there might not be a review. Whereas before, yours might pop up, mine pop up, Jody's pop up, and they'd say, oh yeah, okay, so I feel a little bit more comfortable about buying that. Also, not to mention where I can buy it from and not buy it from replica dealers. And I'm sure you've had this. This ties in this whole thing. I've gotten emails, I've gotten messages on my channel in the messages saying, hey, check us out. We are the #1 replica watch dealer from Hong Kong or whatever. So I'm like, get out of here. I got it. I saved it because I was thinking about doing a video of like crappy comments that everybody's left me and stuff like that. So I took a screenshot and saved one where they're like, we sell the best replica watches ever. And I'm like, oh, I do not condone, do not contact me again. I blocked the guy. I don't play that. I don't play that. You're much better off spending the money you can afford on a real micro brand or use a pre-owned watch or something like that than going and buying these crap. I said it in the video I did with the Tudors that I took down. I have one in the queue waiting for the Hublot that you sent me.
Yeah.
No, you're good, babe. We're just doing an impromptu one right quick. On the fake Hublot you sent me that I can't post now. I'm not going to post it now. And like you said in your video, and I said in mine, I think that Hublot is probably, I don't want to put a number on it, but a majority of it is genuine, and there's fake or not correct aftermarket parts in there. And that is something that's valuable to show somebody.
Exactly. So that was actually a watch that a guy bought, sent to my channel. He wore it for years. Around other people with Hublots, they never knew.
Right.
They never knew it was not a genuine Hublot. He didn't know until he went for a service. I believe it was that was the whole story. Then I also featured. So I featured.
You said that in your video.
Never purchased a replica watch. I've never purchased a replica watch to create a video for my channel or anything like that. I've purchased a replica watch unknowingly through eBay, which I was sent a replica watch and then I was refunded, and then the guy didn't want the watch back because he obviously probably knew it was a replica watch. Right. And then I got that Hublot through a viewer. Actually, someone sent me another watch which I was going to do a video about, but I never did it. I actually put the video together and never actually aired it, and I probably won't now. And then there was a story that someone told me about a replica Rolex that he sent me pictures of the watch, and I did a whole video on that. And that was a similar story. It was Craigslist. He bought the watch. He was trying to flip watches a little bit on him. It was a little bit his fault because he was trying to, and he found one for a really good price, and he got burned. He paid $5,000 or $10,000. I don't remember what the price was and whatever. Now, to what you were saying, I definitely don't condone buying a replica watch, especially if you're just going to buy a replica watch to make a video about it. I think that's kind of, I don't think it's a bad thing, but I think you should probably, because then you're kind of supporting the system.
Yeah, true.
I don't think you need to buy it. Like most of these watches, like Jody, he didn't buy that watch.
No.
Someone gave him that watch to review
Mm-hmm.
and to compare against the genuine article. That's how it happens. And that I am completely okay with. That I think is fine.
Absolutely. That's the other thing. Like I said in my two Black Bay one, you bought it, you unknowingly bought it online. As soon as you cracked it open, you said, "Oh no, this is a fake. Give me my money back." And he did, and he didn't want. I explained that in my video. I explained in the Hublot video, which I noticed the guy commented. He said, "Hey, that's my watch." That I told the story you told in your video. The guy sent it to you. Said, "Can you tell people about this? Because this is actually not a completely fake watch, as to our understanding. It was a real watch with either a fake or a wrong movement or the fake pieces and parts. It's hard to determine. But like you said, he didn't know until he took it into service.
Yeah.
And Hublot said, no, this is not. It's not right.
Yeah. They put a Chinese, I believe, Valjoux 7750 in it.
Copy in it or something.
Yeah, and the case was actually made out of genuine ceramic, and it was made by. It was a Hublot case,
right?
And I believe a Hublot dial or something along those lines. Maybe the dial wasn't. I don't remember, but I know that the movement wasn't real. So that's
Here's
where
the other thing. How do you?
It's a Frankenwatch.
Because there's a Frankenwatch, and there's also been instances. No, they're fine. They're fine. There's also been instances where Rolexes or genuine Rolexes, I'm sorry, I'm trying to turn on the dogs are barking. But this was a last minute impromptu thing. But whatever. But there's also instances where they'll take real Rolexes and actually have the real Rolex movement and then replace certain gears or broken pieces with aftermarket Chinese pieces.
Yes.
So that's technically not a counterfeit. I mean, where does that fall into? That's something else you got to look out for. But if these brands or these other watch channels or whoever keep taking this stuff down, they'll never be able, you're just going to get more people screwed. And I see what they're saying although I must say, in the argument that the major brands have that like you're showcasing a fake watch, I have never, to my knowledge, never heard any watch YouTuber say, "Oh, here's the fake. You can buy it over here." They don't say that.
No.
They specifically say and explicitly say, "Do not support this industry." I said it in the one I did with Josh's Wish watch, which, by the way, I just checked this morning. It's got like 225,000 views on that sucker. And if he has to take that down, that sucks.
I would imagine he has to take that down.
Yeah.
But I mean, if he wants to see, the problem is that I took mine down.
I took mine down too.
I have that hoop. Yeah. I have about at least 200,000 views on my videos too. I put them all in private.
Yeah. I specifically say in that video though, these are criminal activities that do this stuff. They're also tied. They just don't do this. They're tied into other things. You can bet they're tied into, human trafficking, running drugs, running illegal guns. Their money goes to all that type of stuff. I guarantee they're tied into that stuff and counterfeit money and all that kind of jazz. So without knowledge, how are you going to?
Someone in the chat is asking who copyright claimed Jody. So I think there's a couple of rumors going around that either they're saying it could be one of the brands that he actually was featuring on those two videos. So he did two videos where I think they both were Omega. Am I wrong? Or was one Rolex and Omega?
Might have both. I remember the Omega one. The second one, I can't.
I don't remember. Know. If anybody knows, his channel's back up. I doubt he has those videos still up. But and then someone else was saying that it could be Seal's watch because he had like a sort of a little bit of an argument with Seal's watch, and they might be, I don't know. Rolex do care. Sure. See, he says, I bet it was Ryan Newbie says he thinks it was Omega. Rolex actually are the biggest at cracking down on replicas. The most worn watch in the world is Rolex replicas. They're the most sold watch in the world. And they are actively cracking down on any sort of Rolex replica, providers. They are very big into it. Omega has gone that direction as well, and that's kind of the reasons why they do a lot to actually create, all these different, security things in their watches that you can't really replicate very easily. So that's why Rolex puts the crown in the actual sapphire crystal. That's why they put in the Rehaut the name over and over again. That's why they put they try and do some things that aren't going to be able. That's why they hold back the warranty cards, because they don't want people selling their watch. So they're really into this stuff. It's just not that easy for them to really stay on top of it, because it's happening everywhere and there's a lot of people buying them and selling them.
Yeah, well, that's one of the reasons, talking about that, one of the reasons Panerai got some hate lately, or I don't know if it was recently, but they've been getting hate about being one of the easiest watches to fake because of certain models with lacking. Yeah, I guess they used to put on the back of the top of the movement, they used to put Panerai, a nice, jewel it stuff, and do stuff that would make it harder to fake. But the problem with Panerai was that Panerai is always a tool watch. They always had pocket watch movements in them, so they put the Unitas 6497 in it, and it's not an expensive movement. It's like $50 movement, but that wasn't really the point of Panerai. Panerai, first dive watch, really, truly the first dive watch, not Blancpain. It was Panerai before everybody else in the 50s, well before the 50s, excuse me, in the 30s we're talking about. So, but they used very simple movements, very simple dials, very simple cases that were robust and made for diving. Right. Okay. Problem is that when they came out with their watches for the public, they chose a movement that was kind of generic and very easy to replicate. The Chinese replicated it pretty much without any problem. It's an ETA movement. It was owned by ETA. It is owned by ETA, and there's plenty of watches that use these movements. They replicated to a point where it's almost exactly the same as the Swiss-made movement, because it's such a simple movement. It's what the actual, when you go to watchmaking school, it's what you learn on. That's the movement you learn on, because it's so simple. So they were able to replicate it, put it into their movements, put it into their watches, and that's why they were able to come up with these really accurate replicas of those watches. Now, but Omega have the coaxial movement. They've replicated that. They haven't replicated the coaxial escapement, but they have replicated the movement down to the nut and bolt. They've done it for Rolex. They've done it for Panerai, and they've done it for Panerai's new movements. These are very high-end movements that they've replicated. So the Chinese are hard at work. It's just like when you go to China and India, they have just a room of people sitting at phones, calling up old people in the United States trying to get their money. Yeah, you're trying to scam them.
People just making watches using a genuine article and replicating them one for one. I mean, that's just the way it is.
Oh, absolutely.
I get a call from, I don't have a Citibank account. I get a call from Citibank account I had a Citibank account a while ago, telling me that there's been a fraud against my Citibank card. And that I bought an iPhone something or other. I don't use iPhones. I use
log in and
Android.
give us all your info. And
if all you need to do is and just hold, and someone will be right there. And then a few seconds later, it's like, "Hello," and I'm like, "Hey, how could I help you?" And I'm like, "Well, you called me about a fraud. What's up?" So I like to mess with them for a few minutes, and then I just hang up. But it's like, seriously, this is, and it's, you can hear other people in the background. Getting the same goddamn call that I'm getting. Oh yeah, but there's some old lady that, like my mother, sitting there is like, "Oh, my Citibank account, I bought up." Yep. No, it's So that's how you do it on the phone. Hey, look, I just learned that. But here, a comment. That's cool. Alias Eve Watches said, she said Dave just to watch explain his video how they have third-party outsourced lawyers scouring the internet for counterfeit content, and then they need the authorization of the brand owner to raise it in YouTube. That's probably what happened. That could be what happened.
I understand the fine line of promoting. There's a difference between promotion, and people even say it's for educational purposes only. This is try to help people to save their money. Sometimes people save up for years. I saw a post recently. I forget what it was, but congratulations, this guy saved for like 4 years to finally get an Omega Seamaster. A 4-year journey of putting money away for him to buy his first luxury watch. And now what if that had been fake and he lost his entire save? You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So I see both sides of the story, and I can see cracking down on people. But I think I talked to you about this before. The one channel that I remember this, now it's happened before, but Watch Up 69, Mr. Range Man.
Yep.
He did one back. He had 8,000 subscribers. He did a April Fool's joke. Wasn't promoting it. I didn't get to see the video because his channel had been taken down before I found his channel, but he's explained it to me a couple of times, explained it to his followers, subscribers, that they didn't care. They just crushed and deleted his whole channel, and he had to start a new one. There's another one, 10,000 subs. This guy, I Like Watches, Gary, over in England. Same thing. They got him. He was sent a watch from a Chinese brand. I don't remember what it was, Fidelia or one of these little brands, and it was a Submariner homage, okay? But they actually, on the dial, wrote Submariner. And apparently Submariner is a copyrighted name for Rolex, just like Oyster Steel, just like Jubilee. If you notice, Strap Code will sell their J-style bracelet. They don't call it a Jubilee because apparently Jubilee was copyrighted by Rolex, just like Oyster Steel, just like Rollosaur, just like all these terms they have.
I say Jubilee all the time.
I know. And then they told him, right, they told him it was, I don't know if he called it a Jubilee and he's supposed to say Jubilee style. But this watch he had, and I don't remember the brand, the model, it was a Submariner homage. They changed a few things, of course, the logo, you know how the homages work, but they kept the name Submariner. Yeah. And he reviewed it and he said it. I remember him going back and talking about it. He said, oh, the Submariner, the Fidelia Submariner, whatever, and that they whole channel deleted. My problem is every time this happens, there's not a warning, there's not a notice, there's not a, hey, take this down, don't do this again. There's not a strike. They just wipe your entire catalog. Yeah.
It's
what
ridiculous.
Was Jody, 4 years? He's been doing this 5 years?
I made a video. I just like probably 10 minutes before his channel was put back up, I made a video and I was just saying all this work, it's a lot of work making all these videos on YouTube. It's a ton of work. Mm-hmm. It's fun. We enjoy it, but that he does it for a living and for him to just
full time.
And just for him to get everything gone that quickly is, wake up and you have an email just saying, by the way, everything that you've done over the past 4 years on YouTube, gone. Bye. And you can't save every one of those videos. It's
no.
Like, I mean, I don't know.
I've had to go through and delete a lot of my old stuff is cringy. And then, a couple years from now, I'll look at this and I'll be like, oh, that was cringy. So I wouldn't want to repost none of that first stuff anyway. But you're right. You can't save all that stuff. And would you want to repost it, or would you just want to start filming again anew and go back and refilm stuff? But that's just, like you said, this is not what kills me about this is the majority of us, even at you're pushing like 13 and a half, you're going to be 14,000 subscribers here in a couple month or so. I can guarantee you're not making money off of this compared to the time you put in, the money you spend shipping watches back and forth to other reviewers or back to the brand. Now, a lot of brands will pay you back for that. But the time, the money, the traveling, the watches you bought, all that stuff, you don't even break even. You lose money.
No, definitely not.
So for them to do this type of stuff, it just proves they don't care. And then there's that one video I think you and I talked about. I forget the name of the channel where he goes to and says, how come YouTubers have to put the paid promotion thing and all this kind of jazz? Yeah. And if they were even given a watching compensation for their time, but these major television studios do not have to disclose any, which they're supposed to by law, that they have an affiliation with these big makeup brands or car brands or whatever it is.
Kim Kardashian, like the Kardashians, they have like Instagram. They get paid $100,000, $200,000 to take a picture with
a bottle of water or a product.
Yeah. And then, and that isn't disclosed. That is a true influencer. Mm-hmm. I mean, if Heimdallr sends me a $200 watch, I'm lucky if I sell that watch for $75. It's like, what do I really get out of that?
I think about it this way. I talk to people about this. Take whatever your job is, means you were willing to accept a certain amount of compensation for the job they asked you to do. So let's just say if you got a good job, you're making $50 an hour to do whatever your job is. Okay. That means your time is worth $50. if you can't make $50 off a certain thing you're doing, it's not worth doing it. But we're doing this out of friendship, out of community, out of love of watches and the hobby and all this other kind of stuff. So we're not getting paid for this. We're losing massive amounts of money. That is what your time is worth. So, and to do this stuff, I believe creators deserve compensation for doing this. So if somebody gives you, now let's be honest, if you're selling a micro brand, if a micro brand watch is for sale online for $300, it probably cost them $100 to make that watch. Maybe even less. Yeah. So if they give you a quote unquote free watch for your time, you and I have discussed this before. It could take 6 to 8 hours. 6 to 8 hours to make a video, filming it, editing it, doing all the stuff. And then, of course, with you and I have little ones, so we do most of that stuff at night. So you're staying up at night to do that type of stuff because you're doing all the family stuff and your regular job on top of that.
Yes.
For an $80 watch for somebody to give it to you. And then you turn around and go, hey, I got so many watches. You can't give them away. Sometimes you do giveaways and people just don't even answer the emails. They don't see. You're like, what am I doing this for? Let me sell it on eBay for $100, and I still lost money because if you do the math, you made $400 in that 8 hours you're supposed to get paid. If you were at your job, you'd have gotten paid $400. You walked away with an $80 watch, and people say, "Oh, you got nerve. These YouTubers are selling stuff," and trust me. Jody and them might be making money. I don't know if, the Urban Gentry, if TGV's making money, some of these other channels, but
I would imagine TVG makes pretty good money. I would imagine with 500,000 subscribers, you're making pretty good money.
Mm-hmm.
But I think just one more watch with 200,000 subscribers, he's probably making just enough money to, live a normal lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
He's not driving around in a Ferrari.
Right.
And he's a normal guy doing a normal job, and that's what he makes. So eventually, hopefully his channel gets bigger and bigger, and he could do whatever he wants. That's great,
right?
But I think that I think a lot of people get it, kind of twisted, and they don't really understand. Like we don't really make money, especially the smaller YouTubers don't make money at all. Cost them money, and when it comes to someone like Jody, where it is his livelihood, for YouTube to just blanket take down all of his videos, that's a ton of work and effort that he put into that before he was paid, and he hasn't really been paid for all of that work. You know what I mean?
No. Yeah.
And the fact is that he's doing this because he likes to do it, and he wants to. He like the reasons why we do it, and it just so happened to pay off in the end
because he's good at it.
Yeah, because he's good at it. He's entertaining. He has like a good, you know what I mean? And that's just the way it is. Yeah. I feel bad that they took down his channel. I'm happy that they brought it back. I wonder.
Me too.
I wonder the reason why it came down in the first place. Going back to a comment that someone made, I think it was Elias Eve. She was saying that the third parties, brands like LVMH, Richemont, and Swatch Group have their own law offices. They are sitting there and they are fighting counterfeiters every day. Are they doing a good job of it? Not really, but they're doing it every day. That's their job. And whatever is going on at these places, and at Rolex, at the Hans Wilsdorf Foundation, representing both Tudor and Rolex, there is a team dedicated to finding, and they're doing a good job of it. Ironically, it's the demand for Rolex that outweighs the supply, and the reason why that people buy actual replicas are because of that, and also because people just don't want to spend the money, or will never spend the money. They would probably have never bought a Rolex in the first place, but they will buy the replica because they want to show that they have a Rolex, even though they can't afford it.
Right.
So the problem here is that fighting that is a huge undertaking, especially when these are companies that are based in Switzerland, and you have countries that are operating or allowing these operations to happen knowingly, or sometimes unknowingly, but more than likely knowingly letting it happen.
Sure.
That's a problem. That's a big problem, but it's a big business for them. They're making millions, billions of dollars on these watches that are replicas. And a lot of the watches that get reviewed on YouTube, and that's why I review one homage watch, and that is Heimdallr. I don't, if it's an outright replica, I don't like it. I've stopped doing it. I've had on my channel a little bit, but there are a lot of brands out there that are just started, like Felidi, all these ones from Felidia, whatever it's called. They're literally taking replica watches and then putting their name on it, and that's it. That's the only difference. That's the name. They're not making anything. They're not doing anything. They're making replica watches, using replica watches, and putting their name on it. So this is another thing that's a big problem for them, but less of a problem. What the biggest problem is that, like I just said, there are autonomous factories out there just churning out copies after copy after copy. Then they're saying to themselves, "Oh, Rolex just announced a new 36 millimeter Explorer. Go to the local AD, get one." They may be giving them on loan. Who knows?
Right.
They could be in cahoots. Who knows? They're getting it right away because these guys are coming out with the replicas like that. They're looking at it. They're replicating the case. They're replicating the movement, the bracelet, almost down to the micron. It's good enough to get passed along. And the fact is that, and I don't want to sound like I'm promoting replicas. The fact is that after you if you bought a replica Rolex and you wore it every single day for 2 years, and you put it next to one that was an exact copy of a 99% or 90% replica of, the finishing on the watch would almost look exactly the same because you've worn the living crap out of it. You scratched it up. If it's made out of, the replicas are made out of 904 stainless steel. They're made out of the same steel. They're made out of the same components. It's going to look the same. No one's going to really know. You could give it to someone who owns the same watch and they probably wouldn't 100% be able to tell right away. They might be able to because they wear it every single day, but definitely not someone who doesn't own the watch. I mean, it's that close. So here it is. I mean, that's the.
Well, we've talked about it. A lot of times to be able to discover that they're fakes, it's you have to have it in your hands. It's a tangible. Sometimes you can pick it up and you can feel it. Or like in the case of the bronze, the Footer, the fake Tudor that you did the video on that you let me review. You were right. It was close. There was minute details. To tell you the truth, the Tudor rose on the crown of your replica was better because it was on the real one. It's like lightly laser etched and it's black, right? On yours, it's a lot deeper. It was just as well done, but it was deeper,
right.
But then you crack the case back on it and immediately you could tell.
There was a movement in there. It wasn't even a real. Yeah.
Right. But if people don't know this, they're going to get taken advantage of. I just want to talk about this comment real quick, though. Mark from Long Island Watch received a cease and desist order from Rolex saying Oyster and Jubilee. There you go. See? So.
That's crazy. I cannot believe that.
Yeah, that's nuts. But this whole situation, glad it turned out for the better so far. And hopefully maybe this will change some stuff at YouTube. Like, can you give a warning or can you do something where it's, I don't know, educational purposes or
well, that's where Just to Watch Dave is absolutely right. Like, YouTube does not care about the YouTuber and they do not care about the viewer. Nope. They care about money. Getting profits, maximizing. It's very evident from the fact that they've just. So if you're a YouTuber and you have 1,000 subscribers, you become monetized.
Yes.
That means YouTube runs ads on your channel. Did you know that now if you have less than 1,000 subscribers, YouTube runs ads on your videos and you're not paid for them?
Yes, you don't get the money.
You are creating the content. YouTube is gaining the money from it. Why not just it was always in their plan. That's the point. So originally when you started on YouTube, when TGV, whatever his name is, the Urban Gentry, when he started on YouTube, from the very first video he put up, he was monetized. That's how it worked. Didn't matter how many videos you had up. You had one video or 100 videos, you were monetized. That was it. All you need to do was apply for the monetization program, and that was it. So he put up a video, applied for it, or maybe applied for it and then put up a video. I don't know how he did it originally. And then that was it. Now what YouTube is doing is they made it so that you had 1,000 subscribers, but they wouldn't put an ad on your video. Right. So in other words, you would just, if you clicked on that person's video, if they had under 1,000 subscribers, it would go immediately to the video, and that would be it. Get right to the content. This is not being monetized. So why would we run ads on it? Right.
Right.
Now what they're doing is they're running ads on those videos.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let me ask you this,
because they knew
because it was 1,000. Was it 1,000 subscribers? Then they monetize you, and then they change it after that. Because now you have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time.
Yes.
To get monetized.
Yeah.
And I think maybe that is to weed out those channels that just do that buy subscribers and have no content or whatever, and to get monetized. That's probably what that's for right there. Yeah. But yeah, YouTube is running ads on small channels, really small channels, and collecting that money too, and not giving it to. So again, it's all about the money.
Yep.
But I think this one's a little bit different because he's so huge, and it touched a lot of people because he comes across, if you've ever, one of the posts I put in, if you ever spoken to him, and we have on Instagram and Average Joe had him on the channel, the Mad Watch Collector over in England, there's a lot of really small channels. But I'm talking about, they had like around my size, 1,600 subscribers or less. And he would take his time from Australia with totally different time zones to go on that channel and get interviewed. And then he'd have some of those channels back on his own and help promote him. He's a good dude. If anybody didn't deserve this, it was him. I was thinking about this. No hate on Archie, but Archie Luxury screams on camera like an orangutan throwing poop, and YouTube, he's still up there. Yeah. And then you have a guy who is genuinely, I don't think Jody's ever said one curse word on one of his videos, anything cross. He's a gentleman about all that stuff. He's a class act, and he just gets wiped out without. Yeah. And come on, if you're reviewing these videos, you know what you're doing, you scumbag lawyers. You know what you're doing. He clearly says in the beginning, I do not promote, in his Scottish accent, I do not promote fakes. I hate that, but I'm trying to show you, he clearly states all of our videos did that. You said it. I said it. Josh, every video that's ever, and I cannot think of a watch YouTuber right now at the top of my head that doesn't at least have one video comparing that stuff.
So all the major ones do.
All the major ones do.
And they get tons and tons of views. Now, again, we can go into this, like, why do they get tons of views? Because it's the people who want them and the people who want to know about them. But that's the problem, I guess, from Rolex's perspective, from Omega's perspective. They don't want that. They want to, I don't know. I don't agree with it, but I mean, I'd rather be educated. That's just me.
That's knowledge is power, man. Knowledge is power. So I don't, it was totally whack, but good news, he is back. So, but watch out. This is this is clear shot across the bow, as we like to say it, for all watch YouTubers, and maybe all YouTubers in general who might want to touch on that whole thing is, don't do that content. Like I said, I have a video on the Hublot one. Now I'm not going to post that. I was also going to do one, and now I'm considering I'm not going to do it. It was a mixing of video of me shooting some of my pews, wearing different watches, matching them up, trying to, I don't know about that one. That was going to sit there for a while.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know if they're going to get sketchy about firearms. I might post it anyway. I put all the specs up and and I don't try to sell them, and I don't, I might do it anyway. But
yeah, I would look into that. I don't know if they take down. I would like to see it. That's
I'll put it up there. For you,
I don't know what they do. I don't know what they do with guns.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the wife's in here. She spent a lot of time holding the camera, filming it, and when I like so she wants it to go up. So hey, Josh is in here. What's up, Josh?
Yo, Josh, what's up, man? Yeah. So
yeah.
Listen, this is I don't know. I don't know about Josh, but I went through my videos and anything where I put, I had a replica watch comparing it to a genuine watch or whatever it was. I took that down. I put it in private, so I don't know if that makes a difference, but Like you said, it takes, people can't see it. So I don't think that it won't come up in searches and things like that. So that's it.
Yeah, that's true. Also, what somebody was saying, the major brands, there's also been hubbub. There's been buzz that it could be other channels, specifically one channel that I will not call out, but go watch Ben's Watch Club video about the whole YouTube and monetization thing, that it could possibly be a channel he mentioned on there that he called out that buys subscribers, buys views. People have had issues with him in the past, apparently. So I don't know if it was him. I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was, I think somebody was making a joke saying it was the timepiece gentleman, which, by the way, have you seen all the drama? This has been a crazy week for watch drama. What's up, watch guys? You're supposed to be nerds that are all like in the, in the specs and the bridge and the balance wheel. And we're supposed to talk about all that nerdy stuff and be like, yeah, right. Oh, wait, by the way, we didn't do a wrist check. So I'm doing the Seiko SBDC 077. This is a fantastic watch, dude.
Yeah, I love any SBDC, anything with the SBDC in it. There's my
Vacheron overseas. Oh,
yeah, I've been wearing that for
that's just awesome. But so now I forgot what the heck I was.
The timepiece gentleman said he's going to come back on the 8th. I was watching that live stream, the same one that you were with Roman Sheriff and
the wife's like, "What's going on with you nerds?" Like, drama.
I emailed Roman and I emailed Roman. I didn't. Yeah, he doesn't know anything that's going. I don't know. Like they're not saying anything about what's going on. I don't know if they came out with more information. I stopped looking at stuff, but
this has just been a week of watch YouTube drama. I don't know what to do.
Either way, if I were those guys who invested in their business, and that whole business of $2,000 for 1,000 people bullshit that they were, BS that they were doing, I would not trust them anymore. I would want my $2,000 back, and that's it. If I were them, that's it. I don't care if this is a publicity stunt. It's messed up.
Yeah, because I think somebody said, and I agree with this point, there's a difference between famous and infamous.
Yeah.
And not the Three Amigos one. Infamous is you're more than famous. No. There's a difference between famous and infamous.
Right.
And you're right. Can you imagine the anxiety? Now just put yourself in the shoes of some of those guys that can consign, let's say, a $50,000 Daytona with him, and he just goes dark.
Yeah.
I if he comes back and everything's like he says, oh, sorry, a publicity stunt. I don't know how it's going to work out for him. I mean, I get that he couldn't tell everybody because it would leak out and then it wouldn't have the impact that it did. But in my opinion, it was a pretty crappy thing to do to all the people that invested in his whole thing that he's got going on. And then all the people that had consignment, or all the people that were waiting to get watches, or, all that kind of jazz. So,
Josh, I mean, if I were you, obviously I've done it already. So I've taken mine down.
Yeah.
I would take mine down. If I were you, I would take it down only because of the fact that you have a smaller channel.
Mm-hmm.
And if they delete your channel, the chances of it coming back are way less than what Jody. Even if you could rally as many people, they won't care, because financially it doesn't make that much sense for them to bring you back. Yeah. It's as simple as that. They don't care.
I mean, Chris and I will make videos for you, but it won't work.
The thing is, also on top of that, you have the video, you have the views. If you take down that video, your views are still there. The subscribers that you've gained from that video are still there. It's just now a private video. So I would make it private like we did. And then in the long term, I don't know if you delete them. I might end up just deleting mine. Maybe resaving them down just in case. I don't know why, but then deleting them. Unfortunately, I think that's the way to go. I don't know. It's completely up to you, though. I'd rather, from my perspective, for me, I have about, like I said, when I was looking through it, I've probably in the neighborhood of 250,000 views from the videos that I've done on Replica watches. And I looked at it and I said, is it worth it for me to keep these up? Where my whole entire channel can get affected by it. So I decided to take it down.
I think you're absolutely right, because I don't think with these lower channel we wouldn't have a chance in Hades in getting back our channel. We'd just have to start number 2. And you see Josh's comment here, a third of his revenue per month comes from that one video. I have that where I have a Casio G-Shock Square video that that's my bread and butter video. It just keeps cranking along, these steady views. And that's where I make most of my money. If I had to take it down, most of my money, shoot, I've only, you know how much YouTube has paid me? Here's a little insight, guys. You know how much YouTube has paid me in a year and a half? I got $153, bro, for a year and a half. A year and a half. I spent over 14 grand on a Rolex. Now that's for my personal collection.
Yeah, I was about to say,
so I'm in the hole.
No, don't blame YouTube for that,
I'm
man.
huge in the hole. It's YouTube's fault. It's everybody else's fault nowadays. So not mine. No.
Yeah, I have 100 watches because of YouTube.
Because of YouTube.
That's
that's the reality of the situation. And I think average Joe, not put him out there, Josh, maybe it was one of them, I don't remember, said they only get about $150, $200 a month off of YouTube. That doesn't even pay for gear or the lights or setting up that's the whole other thing that people don't think about when you're talking about YouTube. Look how much you spent to get your wall the way it is behind you, or myself, or the gear, or the nice mic you have and the camera. And people say, well, you don't have to do that. Well, if you want to give a quality product to somebody, you have to do that. You have to step it up.
I take a little bit of pride in these videos. I don't want to just put crap out there and I mean, I don't know. I understand it's a third of his revenue. I mean, I would imagine his revenue isn't incredible. I know what my revenue is. I can imagine what his is.
Right.
I don't think he's making $1 million a month, but I don't know. He has to weigh it out. I mean, is it worth keeping it up to possibly?
Oh no! Did we lose Chris?
Am I there?
Yeah, there you are. Yeah, you're back.
All right.
He's back, gents.
I don't know what happened. I think because if it's a Tudor or a Rolex or an Omega, those are the like the Hublot. You probably could leave that up. No one gives a crap. But I
didn't put it up though. I'm not.
I took mine down anyway. I'm being safe. I just took them down.
Yeah,
that's it. So
hey, random Rob here. Rob, let me ask you a question. I can't remember off the top of my head. Have you compared any replica watches with the real ones on your channel? And if you have, did you take them down? Yeah, so Psycho Fu says creators should diversify other platforms like YouTube, BitChute, and Rumble. Yeah, I went over and checked out Rumble. A buddy of mine's got a Rumble account. It's not driving. I mean, it's a lot of work to go back over and then I thought about it. I keep considering it, but the fact is that those they don't even have nearly the reach that YouTube has. So
Rob deleted some videos. Did you delete them, Rob? Or did you make them private?
Oh, there you go. He had a strike 4 years ago showing a replica movement. What?
Really?
See,
but did the replica movement actually say the name of the brand that it was a replica of?
That's ridiculous.
And did they give you a strike? So they didn't take down your channel. They just gave you a strike? Do you want to join the live stream? He totally deleted the video. I think I might do that then.
Yeah. Mine's private right now, but I think you're right. What value? It might just delete it.
If they were in private, I'm not,
Yeah, they're not out there. I think they're just kind of sitting idle. The lawyers or whoever's there can't report you because they can't see them. Because I went and looked it up. I'll use the wife's YouTube channel to look it up, or I have that Matt Stingray one where I used to do car content.
Right.
And I'll look at that. I'll go to look at that to see if my videos have posted and stuff like that. So
you couldn't see it.
I could not see it. It was out of my library and out of the whole thing. So.
All right.
I mean, Blues Dog 64. Yeah. I mean,
and they were popular videos. Two of my most popular videos, actually. They were very popular.
It's not worth losing the channel because, like Chris stated before, we don't have the weight that Jody has behind him. YouTube would not they'll delete our crap like that and not even think twice.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. That's incredible also.
Yeah.
Man.
See, now that's something. And again, Rob provides, he was one of the other channels when I first started doing this that I watch and inspired me. And I learned a lot of stuff. Heck, I would have never learned about Vostocks from his channel, all kinds of stuff. I said, well, that's cool. And then I go and research and see where to buy them. And so that's knowledge right there. That's where to find out. If you're going to find out certain things, now those videos, now they're gone. So people just getting into the hobby might never be able to learn, not that these channels are the only channels, but they usually come up high in the search. So yeah. I mean, ultimately it was good news. So that's true. Oh no, is Chris stuck again? Oh, we lost Chris. No. All right, guys. Well, you know what? With that, yeah, we lost Chris. With that, we'll probably cut it short. Thanks for joining everybody in this impromptu live stream to discuss the 2021 Week of Watch drama with the Timepiece Gentleman and Just One More Watch. Looks like it turned out awesome for Just One More Watch. His channel is back up. Let's keep an eye on it. Let's go over there and say hi, give him some extra views, congratulate him on getting his channel back. And guys, thanks for joining us today. Remember, don't buy replica watches. All right. Have a good one. Enjoy.